Today I'll be giving away a free t-shirt, bringing you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, revealing the books I bought this week, and, if I screw up, a blooper reel. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics right here in Monroe, Louisiana. And this month, in the month of October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am doing all I can to raise awareness of that. And as y'all can see, this is a breast cancer themed comic hero tee, and to go along with it, this breast cancer ribbon. Now, I can thankfully say that I am the son of a breast cancer survivor. My mom has been a 4-year breast cancer survivor, and I personally know other folks who are breast cancer survivors. I know folks who are currently living with breast cancer, and I also knew folks who lost their lives to breast cancer. I'm going to be doing 2 episodes where I'm going to be raising awareness of breast cancer. This episode, I'm going to be, well, really, this episode's for everyone who's ever had breast cancer, whether they're still with us or not, and the same for everyone else. I was going to do it a little differently, but you know what? I just didn't want to do it that way. Now, in 2 weeks, episode 136, I'm going to be raising awareness for domestic violence. That is something that really doesn't get talked about. I think it needs to be addressed. And I personally know some folks who are victims of that, and I'm that guy. Here's one thing about me. I'm that guy who's not afraid to go there in terms of things that need to be talked about. All right. Oh, and before I go on, if y'all haven't watched it, episode 133 of the Comic Hero Show is currently up. It's the Louisiana Comic-Con weekend episode. I did the first half of it over at Acadiana Comics and Collectibles in Lafayette, and I want to thank the manager of the store, Alosha Sellers, for allowing me to do the show. And she was very gracious. So thank you, Alosha. And the second half, of course, was done at Louisiana Comic-Con. I didn't get a chance to interview everyone that I wanted to interview. I mean, there were a lot of folks that I couldn't, or they didn't want to interview but I'm just thankful for those that I have interviewed. I want to thank Hayden Hazard, who is a cosplay model and costume designer. I want to thank actresses Diane Franklin and Kimberly Cates. You probably knew them better as the maidens from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I want to thank the Louisiana Ghostbusters, and I want to thank my good friend, Lafayette's very own comics writer artist and the artist on the books Punks the Comics, Cody Chamberlain. Thank y'all so much. And for those of y'all who live in North Louisiana or East Texas or South Arkansas or even West Mississippi, Louisiana Comic-Con is going to be a lot closer. Next year in April, it's going to be at the Louisiana State Fairgrounds. And to say that I'm going to be doing an episode there is quite astute. But yeah, I am going to be doing an episode there. But yeah, had a lot of fun. Met a lot of great people. Oh, and also, one thing. I want to thank the Spidey team. It's this group of young men and women who are cosplay models that dress up as different versions of Spider-Man. I met the guy that dressed up as the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate Peter Parker. Met Miles, the guy dressed up as Miles Morales. Guy dressed up as Toxin. Guy dressed up as the symbiote Spider-Man, not Venom. This is the symbiote version of Spider-Man. This is the one before. And also met Spider-Girl, Scarlet Spider, and Spider-Woman. And even though this character is not in the comics, and this was very creative of this person, I also met the Phoenix Force Spider-Man. But So glad y'all let me interview y'all as well, and y'all just keep on doing what you're doing. And hey, come to Louisiana Comic Con in April. If no one else is going to invite you, I am. All right, let's give away a free t-shirt. All right, last week's episode, I asked true or false. Power Girl is the Earth 2 version of Supergirl. The answer is true. And here's how. They both have the same first name. The only difference is the Zor-El and their last names are spelled differently. The Earth 1, the Earth World Character Zor-El's last name is spelled Zor-El. Earth 2 is spelled Zor-L. But 3 people have answered correctly, and I'm about to draw the name of the person who's winning the free t-shirt for this week, and that person is... Oh, my drummer, Paul McGee Jr. from Homer, Louisiana. So congratulations, PJ. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee in this week's episode. All right, here's the question for next week's episode. And this one is very easy. And it's a Batman question. What is the name of Bruce Wayne's family mansion? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero tee in next week's episode of the show. All right, before I go on with this Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown, I just need to go ahead and say it right now. In last week's episode, I received a very odd fight request. For those of y'all don't know, it was 50 Cent versus Iron Man, and of course, Iron Man won. But I have to be very creative about how he won. But here's the thing, folks. If you're going to request a Throwdown Showdown fight, unless it is Chuck Norris or Liam Neeson or anyone like that, please do not request a real person going up against a superhero. That's like, just like Claire's husband Bobby said off air in last week's episode. That's like pairing up an ant against a magnifying glass. Just doesn't work. All right, but D'Angelo Ballou from Warren, Ohio has a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight request, and this one are 2 characters from the same universe who are both unstoppable forces and unmovable objects. Representing Marvel, we have Luke Cage. And also representing Marvel, we have the Hulk. These 2 are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Luke Cage versus the Incredible Hulk. Luke Cage possesses superhuman strength and durability, unbreakable skin, and an accelerated healing factor. The Incredible Hulk possesses superhuman strength, superhuman durability, and a regenerative healing factor. Who will win? This would be a very boring fight, until the end. The Hulk would throw the first punch, but in doing so, he would break his hand. Cage would then deliver punch after punch, leaving the Hulk temporarily wounded. His wounds would rapidly heal and would fight again. When Hulk's regenerative healing factor kicks in, it makes him stronger. The 2 would trade punches for minutes on end. Instead of critically injuring each other, they would cause a lot of property damage. Hulk lands one more punch and will revert back to his Bruce Banner form. He would then say, "Luke, look around you. We just tore up an entire city. Miraculously, we didn't hurt anyone. Let's stop this." Luke would then say, "You're right, Doc. There's no sense in this. We're supposed to be heroes." This fight ends in a draw. But wait! As the 2 are walking away from each other, Cage tries to go for a sucker punch. Banner, who fortunately can control his abilities now, reverts back to the Hulk. He then grabs Cage's balled up fist and tosses him into the stratosphere and causes him to lose oxygen. Hulk wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Hulk! Smash! All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and if you have a fight for future episodes, contact info is down there. Now, next week, I will have one that's already been requested. All right, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
First up are 2 issues of the same book, and those books are Superwoman number 2 and Superwoman number 3. Now, what's going on in this book is that after the New 52 version of Superman died, he disintegrated, but the New 52 version of Lois Lane and New 52 version of Lana Lang ended up with some of his powers, and with Lois Lane pretty much being the Kryptonian version, pretty much having the full-blown Kryptonian powers, and Lana Lang having sort of similar to electric Superman powers, which, you know, the electric Superman, that was back in the original DC universe. We all didn't like that version. And in the first issue, they're fighting off bad guys. Lex Luthor is trying to tell them to get out of the way, but Lois Lane ends up being killed by a female-looking Bizarro character, and now it's up to the Lana Lang Superwoman to pick up the slack. All right, first up is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 6. Now, in the opening story arc, Hal Jordan leaves Earth to find the Green Lantern Corps and assume his identity as a Green Lantern after using Krona's gauntlet for a prolonged period of time. He ends up finding out that, he already knew that Oa had exploded thanks to Relic, but what he didn't know was that Sinestro had set up shop on a planet that was once ruled by Mongol in the center of the universe where Oa used to be. And he fights valiantly until he's in prison, and then he ends up getting cut open and was attempted to have the parallax inserted into him. Thankfully, that did not happen. Meanwhile, the members of the Green Lantern Corps that are thought to have been lost in space and time arrive back in the New 52 universe, and they fight other members of the Sinestro Corps. And this is a continuation of that. All right, next up is Action Comics number 965. This is this is a new story arc in which the Lois Lane from the pre-Flashpoint universe finds out that the Lois Lane as Superwoman, from the new 52 universe rather, as Superwoman, had died, and now it's up to her to assume her identity, which really is, there's nothing wrong with that, considering that they're both the same person, just from different universes. All right, next up is The Flash number 8. Now, this is a continuation of the opening story arc in which the Flash goes up against Detective August Hart, aka Godspeed. And in the last issue, Detective Hart tells the Flash how he ends up becoming Godspeed and how he ended up killing people, although it really wasn't his intention. Lies. And this is a continuation of that. Next up is Wonder Woman number 7. Now, the awesome thing about this book that Greg Rucka is doing, he's writing 2 alternating story arcs. One story arc is called The Lies, and the other one is called Year One. Now, The Lies, this is part 3 of The Lies, and with great artwork by Liam Sharp, who is really no stranger to Wonder Woman whatsoever. And the other story arc is called Year One, and the artwork is done by Nicola Scott. And such great alternating story arcs by Greg Rucka, and I can't wait to read this. And then lastly, Supergirl number 2. This is part 2 of Reign of the Cyborg Superman. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, what's the Cyborg Superman doing in New 52 universe? Well, this is not the pre-Flashpoint Cyborg Superman. This is actually Zor-El, which happens to be Supergirl's dad. And you're probably wondering, didn't he die on Krypton? Well, actually, he did not. He was gravely injured, but thanks to Brainiac, he had his DNA rewritten, and he looks almost like a cybernetic version of Superman. And meanwhile, Kara is trying to adjust to having adopted parents, and then go to a science school and be a member of the DEO, excuse me. And it's not it's not coming easy, especially when your adopted parents are also agents of the DEO. All right, that's 7 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,503. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and here's the question for a free t-shirt for next week's episode. What is the name of Bruce Wayne's family mansion? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free Comic Hero tee in next week's episode. Hey, Will. And, but if you want to buy a shirt from me, if you don't mind doing so, for adults, they're $10. For children, they're $5. Now, if you want a polo, just like the one that I wore in episode number 131, they're $12. You're probably wondering throughout the entire episode, why am I wearing an LSU hat? Well, the only reason I'm doing so is because their live mascot, Mike the Sixth, passed away yesterday. He had passed away after a long battle with cancer. And one thing about me, I love animals. And he was a very beloved figure on the campus of LSU. And I know that just about everyone who's a student at a student or an educator or faculty and staff at LSU are grieving right now, and also everyone who has ever taught or attended LSU are grieving right now. My thoughts and prayers go out to each and every one of y'all. For those of y'all who know, Mike the Sixth had a long battle with cancer, and he went peacefully yesterday. He was only 12. Really had a lot of fun with this episode. I have fun doing every episode. But here, all right. I need to say this. Come to this store. The owner, Claire Chandler, is doing such an amazing job. I can't stop gushing about how well she's been doing. I mean, you don't buy comics. I'm actually seeing a Walking Dead dice game. There's only one more, so if you're watching this and it's still here, you better buy it. You better buy it before someone else does.
We also have calendars, Walking Dead calendars.
Yes, that's right, Walking Dead calendars. Go ahead and buy one. Heck, I may buy one. I may buy one because I have a Star Wars calendar right now, and it's about to end. And again, I want to thank everyone who I interviewed at Louisiana Comic Con last week. Cody Chamberlain, Diane Franklin, Kimberly Cates, the Spidey team, Hayden Hazard, and the Louisiana Ghostbusters. And also I want to thank the manager of Acadiana Comics and Collectibles, Alosha Sellers. Thank you so much, Alosha, for your kindness and everything that went on while we were there. Another great episode. And to paraphrase Mike Greenberg, next week I'll be back better than ever. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 135, right back here at Clint's Comics. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and rest in love, Mike. We'll miss you.